My name is Adora, and I was the girl the villagers cursed. When I walked through the square, the women would pull their children close. The whispers followed me everywhere like shadows that never left. That girl again, they said, death walks with her. They were afraid of me. Not because I hurt anyone, but because everyone I loved had died. My father first, then my mother, coughing all through the night until her voice faded forever. My brothers and sisters followed one after the other. Only I was left. And because I survived, they said I brought death. They called me a witch. I was poor, thin, and always hungry. My wrapper was torn, my blouse patched 3 times. When the sun rose, I sold firewood or carried baskets for women who would not even look at me. When night came, I slept alone in a corner of the square, my eyes full of tears and my heart full of questions. Then one night, my loneliness met a face. Obinna, the son of the village chief. He was tall, strong, and his laughter could chase away sorrow. He spoke to me when others turned away. He called me beautiful. He told me I was not cursed. He said he cared. When he held my hands, I felt human again. We met secretly under the moonlight, near the trees, away from the eyes that hated me. His voice was soft, his arms warm. For the first time, I believed that maybe I could belong somewhere to someone. For months, we met like that, hidden in the dark, whispering promises. But one evening, I couldn't hide anymore. My heart was too full. I looked into his eyes and said, "Let us tell them, Obinna. Let me be your wife. Let me walk beside you in the open, not in secret. They call me cursed, but with you, I'll be safe." His smile faded. His eyes turned cold. "You, a ragged orphan? I am the son of the chief. You are not my equal. What we share was never meant to leave the dark." Those words cut me like a blade. I felt my chest break. I pulled my hands from his and ran into the night. That night, I wept until my body shook. I wished I had never been born. 3 days later, screams filled the village square. Obinna had fallen sick, his body twisted, his breath failed, and by sunset, he was dead. The people wailed, tore their wrappers, and rolled in the dust. But when their tears dried, their eyes turned to me. It was her, the cursed one. She begged him to marry her. He refused, and now he is gone. Before I could speak, rough hands grabbed me. Stones hit my back, my head, my shoulders. Women screamed in my ears, "Witch, evil child." They beat me until my blood stained the ground. Then they dragged me to the edge of the forest, spat on me, whipped me, and shouted, "Leave and never return. If you ever step foot here again, we will burn you alive." I stumbled into the forest, my eyes swollen, my body bruised, my soul broken. That was the last time the villagers saw me, or so they thought, because even in the darkness, I did not die. I learned, I waited, and I changed.
The forest became my home, my grave, and my teacher. The first nights were the hardest. The ground was cold, the wind cruel, and every sound made me tremble. I thought of my mother's voice, my father's laughter, the way my siblings used to play under the mango tree. But all those memories only hurt more. I cried until there were no tears left. Then one night, when the moon was full and pale, I heard a whisper, "Adora." It was soft, like wind passing through leaves. I froze. I looked around. Nothing. Then I heard it again. Adora. I followed the voice deeper into the forest until I found a small hut covered in vines. Smoke rose from a hole in the roof. My heart pounded. I was too weak to run, too afraid to go back, so I stepped closer. Inside, an old woman sat by a fire, stirring something in a black clay pot. Her eyes were white and cloudy, but somehow she saw me before I spoke. "I've been waiting for you," she said. Her name was Mama Nedi, the forest healer, or so she told me. She lived alone, far from the village, because they feared her too. Some said she was a witch. Others said she was death itself. But she fed me, bathed my wounds, and gave me a place to sleep. Days turned to weeks. I helped her fetch water, gather herbs, and mix powders. She never asked about my past, but one night, when the firelight danced on her wrinkled face, she said, "They cursed you because they feared what they did not understand. But the same fire that burns can also give light if you learn to hold it." I didn't understand her words then, but I stayed, and she taught me. She showed me how to mix leaves that could heal pain and others that could cause it. I learned the secrets of the earth, how the roots whispered to the sky, and how every shadow had a voice. I found peace in the quiet, until one evening, when the rain was falling hard, Mama Nedi called me close. "It is time," she said. "Go back to them. Go as the woman of the tea, the one who brings sweetness to cover bitterness." I didn't want to go back. That village had buried me alive with their hate. But something inside me stirred. Not anger, not revenge, something deeper. When dawn came, I left the forest, wearing a long wrapper of deep red, my hair tied high, and a basket on my head. In the basket were herbs, roots, and a small jar of honey, all gifts from Mama Nedi. The villagers didn't recognize me at first. I was taller, darker, and my eyes had changed. They only saw a stranger selling tea by the roadside. I smiled, I bowed, and said softly, "Good morning, my people. Come, taste my tea. It gives strength and peace." They tasted it, and just like before, they loved it. They laughed, they praised me, they called me Tea Woman. No one knew it was me, Adora, the cursed girl. Day by day, the whole village came to drink, even the chief himself, his wives, his sons, his daughters. They said my tea was like magic. It calmed anger, eased pain, made them dream good dreams. I smiled, I served, I bowed. But deep down, I was watching, waiting, listening. Then one night, as I was packing up my pot, I heard two women talking near the well. One said, "Do you remember that cursed girl, Adora?" The other laughed. "Ha! The one that killed the chief's son. They say her bones still lie somewhere in the forest." They laughed and walked away. But I stood still, my hands trembling over the pot. I thought of Obinna, his smile, his betrayal, his cold words. I thought of the stones that tore my skin, the crowd that screamed for my death. That night, I went back to my hut, placed the pot before me, and whispered to the fire, "If they want tea, then they would taste truth." I added something new to the pot, something Mama Nedi had told me never to use unless I was sure of my heart. A black powder from a root that only grows where the ground has tasted blood. When I stirred it in, the steam rose, smelling sweet and strange. And as I walked to the market that morning, carrying my basket and pot, the wind whispered again, Adora, your story is not over. They thought the cursed girl had died. But I was back as the tea woman, and soon they would all remember my name.
The morning I returned to the market, the sky looked strange, half bright, half grey, like even the heavens were unsure of what would happen next. I set down my pot, arranged the calabashes neatly, and smiled as people gathered. "Tea woman! Tea woman!" they called. The market was full that day. Traders shouting prices, goats crying, babies wailing on their mothers' backs. But my corner was different, calm. The air around my table smelt of spice and honey, warm enough to draw everyone close. I watched them come, the same faces that had once thrown stones at me, the butcher's wife, the old herbalist who had spat at my feet, the chief's daughters who used to laugh when I passed. None of them knew me. None of them looked twice. I served them all with a smile. My tea was thicker now, richer. It looked golden under the sun, but the secret inside it was dark. The black root Mama Neddy warned me about. Just one drop could bend a person's dreams. 2 drops could bend their mind. They drank and sighed with joy. "Ah, tea woman, your hand is blessed. Give me another cup. Since I started drinking your tea, my nights are peaceful." I only smiled and said softly, "Peace comes at a price, my dear." That day, I noticed something new. A little girl stood across the market staring at me. Her eyes were big and curious, her dress torn. She looked like me, the me I used to be. When our eyes met, she didn't look away. She just smiled, small and shy. My chest tightened. I poured a cup and called her. "Come, child, taste my tea." She came closer but shook her head. "Mama said I shouldn't drink what I don't know." Her words struck me harder than any stone. For a moment, I forgot everything. The pain, the anger, the plan. I saw myself in her, small and innocent, before the world turned cruel. Then a voice cut through the noise. Deep, loud, familiar. "Move away, make way for the chief's household." The crowd parted. A large umbrella came forward, shading a woman dressed in fine wrappers and coral beads. It was Lolo Adaze, the chief's first wife, and Obinna's mother. My breath caught. Her face was older, her steps slower, but her pride was still the same. She sat before me without recognizing me. "You are the famous tea woman, eh?" "Yes, my queen," I said, keeping my head low. "They say your tea brings rest to tired hearts. Give me some." I poured slowly, watching the steam rise. My hands trembled, but I smiled. She took the cup, raised it to her lips, and drank deeply. Then she looked at me, really looked at me. Her eyes narrowed. "Your voice, it sounds familiar. Have we met before?" My heart pounded. "I meet many people, my queen," I whispered. She nodded, wiped her lips, and stood. Your face, it reminds me of someone, but no matter, good tea." She dropped coins on my mat and walked away. When she was gone, I sat still, my chest heavy. I could still hear her laugh, the same laugh she had when they threw stones at me. That memory burnt inside me like fire. Days passed. The tea sold faster than ever. The people adored me. They said my brew made them dream of beautiful things, green fields, singing birds, lost ones smiling again. But the dreams never stayed peaceful. By the 3rd week, whispers began. "I saw shadows in my sleep," one woman said. "I heard crying," another whispered. "My husband says he saw the forest calling him." Then the butcher fell sick. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. The chief's youngest daughter began to scream in her sleep. The old herbalist woke up blind one morning. The villagers ran to the shrine saying evil spirits had entered the land, but I knew the truth. The past had returned to collect what it was owed. That night, I sat by my pot watching the fire dance under it. The tea bubbled softly, glowing gold at the top and black beneath. I thought of Mama Neddy's words, "Be sure of your heart before you use the root." Was I sure? Part of me wanted them to suffer, to feel every wound they gave me. But another part, the part that still remembered laughter, kindness, and love, was breaking quietly inside. Then I heard that whisper again, like wind in the dark. "Adora." I turned. No one, only the trees moving. But deep down, I knew what it meant. The forest was calling me again. The same forest that once hid me was asking for my heart's choice. To forgive or to finish what I started.
I had brought the village to its knees. One by one, they began to fall. The ones who laughed when I cried. The ones who spat when I begged. They dreamed of the same forest that once sheltered me. They saw me in their dreams, standing beside a fire, holding a cup of golden tea. Some woke up screaming my name. Others never woke up at all. But still, I could not sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Obinna's face. The way he smiled when he lied. The way he turned away when I begged for love. I saw the faces of those who hurt me, yes, but I also saw the faces of the children playing by the stream, the mothers washing clothes, the laughter of people who didn't even know the pain they caused. I whispered into the night, "Mama Neddy, what have I become?" And for the first time since she sent me away, I heard her voice. Not from the trees, not from the wind, but from inside my heart. "You have become what pain made you. But it is your choice what you make of it." The next morning, I went to the stream to fetch water. My reflection in the water startled me. My eyes were darker, my skin pale. The girl I once was had vanished. In her place stood a woman made of silence, sorrow, and secrets. When I returned to the village, the people were in panic. The chief's first wife, Lolo Adeze, had fallen ill. Her body shook like dry leaves. Her eyes rolled back, and her tongue turned black. They carried her to the shrine, poured libations, burned herbs, but nothing worked. The chief sent messengers across villages looking for healers. I stood in the crowd, silent, watching. I could feel every heartbeat, every whisper. Some villagers turned to me with desperate eyes. "Tea woman," they begged. "You heal everyone. Please help our queen." I wanted to turn away. I wanted to walk into the forest and never look back. But something inside me, maybe the last piece of light left, said, "Go." They led me to the palace. The smell of incense and sickness filled the air. Lono Adeze lay on the mat, her body thin, her breath shallow. Her eyes opened weakly when she heard my footsteps. "You," she whispered. "I know you." I knelt beside her, my hands trembling. "Drink this," I said softly, lifting the cup to her lips. It was tea, but not the one mixed with darkness. This one was pure, simple, made with honey and white roots, the kind Mama Neddy made for healing. She sipped it slowly, her hands shaking. Then she coughed, a deep, painful sound. When she opened her eyes again, tears rolled down her cheeks. "I remember now," she said weakly. "You are Adora. The cursed girl. We wronged you. Her words broke something inside me. All my anger, all my pain began to melt away. Not because she deserved mercy, but because I was tired of carrying so much hate. The chief entered, saw us, and froze. Who are you? What have you done? Before I could speak, Loloadeze reached out her weak hand. She saved me, she whispered. She is not cursed. She is our punishment and our mercy. That night, the rain poured heavily. I walked back to my hut, soaked to the bone, my heart beating fast. I had healed the woman who led the crowd that once tried to kill me. I had given life where I once gave death. But when I reached my hut, the fire inside the pot began to burn wild, too wild. I rushed to cover it, but the flames rose higher, spreading fast, licking the walls, devouring everything. My herbs, my mat, my pot, all turned to ash. The fire roared like an angry beast, and in the midst of it I heard the whisper again. Adora, you cannot serve both fire and water. Choose. I fell to my knees, tears mixing with rain, my heart breaking open. I choose peace, I screamed. I don't want to burn anymore. The flames calmed slowly, shrinking back until only red embers remained. I sat there in the smoke, shaking and crying, realizing what the voice meant. The fire beneath my hands was not the pot, not the herbs. It was me. My heart had been the fire all along. That night, I promised myself one thing. I would never brew that cursed tea again.
The rain would not stop that night. It came down hard and cold, washing over the rooftops, filling the paths, turning the red earth to mud. By morning, the storm had ended. The air smelled fresh, like new beginnings. I walked into the village barefoot, my clothes still damp, my heart still heavy. Everywhere I looked, I saw faces that once hated me, now filled with fear and guilt. Children who once ran from me, now hid behind their mothers. The men who once shouted witch, now bowed their heads when they saw me. Even the chief, proud and mighty, stood before his gate, looking weak, his eyes full of sorrow. He called out softly, Adora. I stopped, but did not bow. The rain dripped from my hair, running down my face like tears I refused to shed. You know who I am now, he said. You brought us pain, yes, but you also healed what you could have destroyed. Tell me, what do you want from us? For a long time, I said nothing. Then I spoke, my voice shaking like thunder after lightning. I want nothing, only that you remember. Remember what your fear did. Remember how you treated a child who only wanted love. Remember what hatred brings. The crowd gathered around me, silent, listening to every word. I looked at their faces, faces that once burned with hate but now shimmered with shame. I did not curse this village. You cursed yourselves the day you chose cruelty over kindness. The wind blew hard, scattering leaves across the square. Somewhere behind the crowd, I heard a child cry. It sounded like my younger self, small, scared, and forgotten. I turned to leave, but a woman's voice called out, Please stay. We can start again. The people will forgive you. I stopped and smiled sadly. Forgiveness is not what I came for. I came to find myself, and now I know who I am. Not a witch, not a curse, just Adora. I walked toward the forest one last time. The trees stood tall, waiting, their wet branches glistening in the sunlight that had finally broken through the clouds. The earth was soft beneath my feet. Each step felt lighter. Behind me, I heard the villagers begin to murmur prayers. Some wept, some knelt, but I did not look back. When I reached the edge of the forest, I saw something glowing faintly among the ashes. A small clay cup, blackened by fire, but still whole. The same cup I had used to serve my first tea. I picked it up and held it close to my chest. The whisper came again, gentle this time. Adora, the rain has cleansed what fire began. I smiled through my tears. Thank you, Mama Neddy, I whispered to the wind. The forest sighed softly, as if answering. I looked back one last time at the village, my village, small, broken, but alive. Smoke rose from their huts, mingling with the mist of the rain. For the first time, I felt no anger, no sorrow, just peace. I placed the clay cup by a rock near the stream and walked deeper into the forest. The birds sang again, and the light broke through the trees in golden lines. My feet carried me forward, and with every step, the weight of the past began to fade. Maybe one day the villagers would tell my story, the story of Adora, the girl they cursed, the woman who brought them tea, and the spirit who vanished with the rain. But I did not need them to remember me, because I was already free. And as the rain began to fall again, soft and gentle, I whispered to myself, let the fire rest and let the ashes become new life. Then I disappeared into the forest, a shadow, a memory, a lesson carried by the wind.